Hey everybody, this is Taylor with Top Pick Trading. I want to give you guys a little chart review today. Marco is not able to do it, so I hope you guys enjoy this. Not going to do the bar by bar, but just a regular chart review. So here we go, let's get started. So you can see we've pretty much had a range day. Through the overnight we dropped, maybe formed this big spike in channel. Never really played out until I guess here technically, but that's a long range type structure to really consider this a new low from this. So really just big push down and then sort of range action all day. So yeah, let's look at right around 8 o'clock, which is right in here. You have this really strong micro push down. We get a, let me zoom in some. We get a break here. We get a second entry. Unfortunately, a little inside bar here. Lower high, no good bar. We drop to a new low on this red downtrend. We get this uptrend. We get a lower high. Maybe you consider this a retest on the lower high. Still kind of closes close to the EMA, so I think you want to wait here. Then we have this news item that's coming at 9:45, so as Mack suggests, you probably want to stay flat through all of this. It's unfortunate too because if this bigger trend, the spike in China was valid, you'd get a second entry pretty much right off of it with a perfect bar. Not too concerned about the EMA right here, but that would be one thing to look at. Doesn't matter because it's during the news. And the same goes for this lower high, a little congested, but right off that key entry point again, a really nice bar. But once again, during the news. So get both of those. We get this uptrend working now. Get just this first entry here. I mean, you could technically see this as a failure, but to me, it doesn't really look like one. And it's kind of near this range resistance here. I think you want to lay off of that one. Then you get just a first entry, no good bar anyway. Come back, you get this little break. Once again, just a first entry after 3 bearish bars. Pushes up to a new high. You get this lower high. This is actually a really nice bar here, but a little bit congested, and you may get 2 legs to a new high. That is until we push below the EMA. We come back here. We get a nice triple test. I understand there's 3 bearish bars here, but you can see bearish side just had just as much, if not more, momentum to the downside. So this is a V shape. I'm looking to sell at the top of this V shape. We've already got this uptrend that's played out. We traded down into this overall area. This is almost like a little potential failed breakout from this yellow range. You can see here we pushed strong off that resistance, pushed even stronger, making a lower low. So with a good bar here, just 1 tick lower high as well. I like this trade as a triple, almost really a quadruple test if you count this as 2. So the major con is the 3 bullish bars and that we traded up into this. But like I mentioned, uptrend probably played out, and bearish resistance off this is shown to be really strong. So you get a nice little scalp out of that. Then we just kind of chop in the middle here, right in the middle of the range. Nothing to take there. Break out of it temporarily. Make a little bit of a lower high here, but no setup, not a good bar. No bar through here. Micro downtrend. First break of it, you get a second entry. Unfortunately, a little doji above the EMA and right into this earlier support area. So I don't think you want to take that. You know, if you got a really strong bearish bar that closed maybe in this region here, you can consider that, but I just don't like the bar. This looks like a double top to me, so this just looks like a first entry. So not really you could see this as a failed second entry long, but I just don't really like where it forms personally, and the bar is not all that good. A little bit far from the EMA too. We just kind of chop lower, make a new low on this micro downtrend. Get a failed second entry short, but right below the EMA, so I don't think you want to take that. A little bit congested in this area too. Clearly working higher, but right into that EMA. And it definitely traps some shorts though. Rockets higher. You get a second entry here. I marked it orange, which means very aggressive. Green is just somewhat aggressive that I think you probably should still consider. Most of my trades I mark green, as you can see, and then blue and red obviously are the best longs and shorts respectively. But anyway, this is a pretty strong move. You got a second entry long, bouncing right at this previous little resistance area. So it's at an important little support resistance or supply demand zone. Problem is it's a little far from the EMA. Still pretty tempting. If you want to risk that, I understand. Maybe you can get a nice little limit. You can see it gets 1 tick from stopping you out. I don't know if this broke above first, or actually I think it did break above and then traded all the way down and almost got you. Ends up working though. High or low is too close to these highs, so I don't think you can take that. I know I talked with Marco and he liked this trade, so if you're a little more aggressive, maybe you consider that. You get the new high and you come back and you make a second entry long. I only made this green for a couple of reasons. You know, it's a nice bar, nice setup bar right off that EMA and key entry point. The problem is this is only the second touch of this key entry point, so you don't really know if it's valid yet. The EMA keeps holding. That's the main thing here. And it's also right at that support area again, that same area. A little bit congested, big risk, 12 ticks. Drop your limit maybe a couple ticks back. Nice little two-legged jog. You could, if you saw this as one test here, it could be seen as a triple test. So, like I said, I like that trade. Just don't really have this key entry point here yet, though. If it pushes higher, you get a strong little move down. Get the second leg right here. So technically this is the second entry, but this looks like two legs clearly. We tested it kind of in this area once, twice, 3 times. Get a nice, pretty nice bar. It does close near this little resistance here. So if you take this trade, I think you are all right. You definitely need to go for a smaller target, and you need to use a limit order. Got to be really careful with this one because it's closing near the high of that chop. So, but clearly, 2 leg of correction, so second entry long, triple test, first break of this uptrend, expecting a retest. Pretty dang good signal bar. And even on more of a micro scale, you got a little double top here, so a second entry on this little micro scale as well. I like that trade. Just got to be careful with your target. We come back again, you get this little failed breakout. Still don't have that new high yet. So really now it's like a little quad test, and you get the failed breakout on that wick. Closes a little bit congested, but won't take off its high. A little aggressive again just because of that congestion, and unfortunately one tick bearish, but still showing good bullish momentum. Expecting a retest on this. So I think this trade's pretty decent too. Now we get 2 legs up to a new high from this uptrend. Clearly just looks like a range here. Now we start to drop. You get a failed second entry long right here. I'm just not so sure on this one. Kind of forms weird. I really like the second swing, or the swing that forms the failure to typically be lower than the first entry. And you can see here's the first entry, and the second swing is higher. There's no major like resistance in here. It kind of looks choppy right at the EMA, so I don't think you can take that. I personally don't really like it, but it does take off, pushes down to these lows here, or a low of this micro trend, and you get like a third entry here. You know, clearly still kind of looks, I wouldn't say clearly, but you could see it as 2 legs. It does confirm this blue key entry point. It's an inside bar with 2 ticks off its low. Doesn't quite touch the EMA, and it closes right into this congestion. So if you want to be really aggressive, I'm not even going to mark it orange, but if you really trust that trend line there, maybe consider it. But locally, just not quite clear enough for me to mark that. If it drops lower, you get a lower high, but right into the low of the swing. Nothing here. Huge move down. Drop sideways, to a new low. This could be even, actually looks pretty good too. Maybe an overshoot. Drop sideways, get one more move down. Get this big push up here, break new high. Chop sideways. You know, maybe expecting a retest on this blue downtrend. So a lower high here could have been decent, but you can see how sideways it gets. And here's the bar. It didn't end up triggering until 2 bars later. So no trade there. And then that's 330. So yeah, these are the ones I like today. Some are debatable. There's some other ones maybe you can mark, but the context on a lot of these were clear, but maybe not the best signal bars, a little far from the EMA, that sort of thing, like this one here. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Once again, just a little downtrend that formed into a folded over into a range. So thanks for watching, guys and gals, and y'all have a great weekend.